Hey, what's going on? It's your guy KLA Cloud the Wanderer about to give it to you once again. I have a guest. His name is Malcolm McFadden,
McFadden.
and he's McFadden. Apologize. And he's the creator of 615 Comics, and he's gonna tell how he formed this incredible comics and stuff. And I appreciate you coming, stopping by, and giving me the opportunity to talk with you. Yeah. So what is 615 like? What does what the that title? It's kind of different, you know.
Yeah, so 615, the title comes from a friend of mine who is no longer with us, rest in peace. His house was the address to his house was 615.
Mm,
And that was like the address to his house. So that was kind of like the hub for like a lot of creativity and like we did a whole bunch of cool stuff there before he passed. So after he passed, to kind of keep his memory going, I kind of started naming stuff after like 615 comics. So that's where the name comes from, just the address of one of my friends who passed.
oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Never thought that. Yeah. Yeah, was he also like a comic book creator or
No, actually, well, around the time we were actually really into music and stuff, so a lot of stuff we did at his house was music recordings. But I've always been into making comics and making characters my whole life. So like sometimes times like I would think of like characters while being at his house, but for real, it's just his house was kind of like just a hub of creativity. So like just to keep that
mm,
like energy alive, that's kind of how the name came about. But like mostly what we did there was mostly music. We didn't really do anything with comics back then because this was actually before I actually started writing comics. I just came up with characters in my head. So like this is before like I had took it seriously and started actually writing comics.
yeah, so I was I was going through Instagram and going through your Instagram page, and I was really digging it. Like, I like this. This
Yeah,
is
it's from my favorite pictures
now
of my characters.
not now like this is can you tell me and the viewers like who these two are?
Yeah, so the female character that is in the silver and pink, that is Aurora Lee. That is the first character of my 615 universe. And beside her is Amari King, aka Mahis. He is the second character of my universe, and both of those comics are out right now on my website 615.com.
Oh, okay. So, the girl, like I read a little bit about her. Like she has powers, and she's trying to save her parents. She's trying to look for her parents
Yeah,
because
so
they
oh sorry, I didn't mean to
now
cut
go
you off.
ahead. Oh,
Oh,
I
so
mean,
yeah,
you can explain. You can explain.
that. So Avora Lee, her comic is called Avora Lee, a New Breed, and in the first comic, when you jump into it, you jump into with her searching for her parents. So she's searching for her parents because they have been kidnapped by this corporation called Well Labs. And so you can kind of think of Well Labs as kind of like an evil version of Star Labs from DC Comics. So they
Mm,
kidnap her parents, and she is looking for them. And at the same time, she is also, um, trying to use her powers to her developing powers, trying to control her powers and her emotions in order to save her parents.
that's pretty cool. And what this like the lion dude? What like he's like is he like an animal man where he got these animal powers and stuff like that?
No, so he actually doesn't have any powers at all. The he
Mm,
actually is like an animal man. So he basically is he protects animals and saves animals from people of that harm them, like and people that profit off animal cruelty. So in the comic, The King's Domain, that's about him, and he's going up against this organization called the Alpha Organization. And the Alpha Organization is this criminal organization who is all over the world, and they make most of their money off of animal cruelty, like selling rhino horns, selling illegal animals, poaching animals, selling animal skin, and then so they also do a lot of other legal stuff, as in drugs, human trafficking, illegal fights and stuff like that. But most of their money comes from animal cruelty. And his comic is about him going up against that about against the Alpha organization and trying to stop them and bring them down.
Is he like Craven the Hunter a little bit, or
Kinda. So actually, that's kind of so one of the characters that is the villain in the story called Wendaji. He actually is his character is very much inspired by Craven. So this character right here, Mahis, he's more so inspired by not off like theme, but my by Mr. Terrific, because Mr. Terrific is
mm,
one of the coolest characters in DC. So when
right?
I wanted to like make a really cool character, something kind of as cool as Mr. Terrific, so I took a lot of things that I thought were cool and like put them together. Like the lion theme. He's also a boxer. He's a former boxer. He's a billionaire. He has his own island. Like he's a genius. Like so, even outside of like being a hero, he's just a great person.
Right. So almost like well, I don't think I like read too much on Mr. Terrific, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of Batman mixed with Green Arrow, but a black version guy, like Craven Hunts. What you think? Because Bruce Wayne is smart, and yeah, he got gadgets and all that stuff. Some of his stuff, I think he's made by Lucia Fox and stuff, but
Yeah, so yeah, kind of sort of around that realm of like a rich superhero type. He doesn't, so my character doesn't have as many gadgets. It's more so just his suit and his hands.
right,
That's what he relies on. He relies on his hands, to get things done. So like he definitely you can play him kind of in that realm of having like the Bruce Waynes and Oliver Queens, but more so he would more so kind of maybe fall under I would say kind of Black Panther, but even Black Panther has a lot of tech with him. So I you could put him in that realm, but he's still kind of different because he doesn't use as much tech as they do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's interesting, man. I was liking this. Now, this, these two are a little different. Like, who are these? Like, who are these
This is
characters?
this is the same person. This is the same character. Amari.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
This is just him outside of the suit, looking at the suit. Yeah.
all right. Yeah. What was the process like of like creating these characters?
Well, the process was really it's really fun. Actually, creating any character is kind of pretty much fun when you get that like first idea down and you kind of expand off that idea. Like whether it be the idea of having powers, whether it be the idea of like it being lion theme. Like it's always fun expanding off the first idea. So kind of the process for especially if we talking about Amari King, the kind of process for that was like I always wanted like a lion theme character, so it kind of became like his story. Who is this person? Like,
Yeah,
what is his mission? Like, what is he going for? Who are his villains? What is his story? So it kind of builds from you getting this one simple idea. Say like, I believe with the King's Domain, it kind of started with just wanting to make like a lion themed character, and that kind of
right.
expanded, especially with the influence of Mr. Terrific and kind of just making a cool character. It kind of just expanded from there, and then its story just kind of, kept building and building as it went along.
Yeah, it's almost like more and more of a snowball effect and stuff.
Right, legit, like a snowball going down a hill, and then like it just collects more and more snow till it comes this huge like avalanche for us. So yeah, definitely like that.
Yeah, you also have like this called the vigilante. He's like it's he seemed like an interesting character.
So yeah,
And this is
this is a comic that's coming up soon. It's actually coming to Kickstarter later this year. And if you follow me on Instagram at 615 Comics, you can follow the campaign and then get notified when we launch. But this comic is actually called The Legacy, and it follows this
okay.
character called he goes by the name. Well, the people give him the name the Black Vigilante, and then basically it's a father and son story about father and son who have these abilities that have been passed down from their fathers, and so on and so on. So they have these abilities and powers that have been passed down, and the son wants to like do more with their powers, but the dad is very hesitant about it. He doesn't trust the world. He doesn't want people to find out about them. So he wants them to keep themselves like low key, but the son doesn't. So the story goes is about a father and son story. Basically, how the father is trying to teach his son, trying to you know show him how to be a man, and at the same time, his son is racing to become a man at the same time. So it's a really dope story. It's kind of like it's like my most heartfelt story, kind of like my like my it's my baby in a way. So I can't wait for people to read that, and that'll be out later this year.
Yeah, that how much like 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 the like customers you get like from get gaining on from these comics like do you have like readers? I mean, like that's what I'm saying. The words ain't coming out, but the how many readers that you've been getting lately? Like, if I could ask you that question.
I've been getting a lot of reads. We got a lot of support on our very first Kickstarter, and a lot of support on our second. And we continue to keep growing every day. Every day we get more followers. Every day we get more, readers and people like checking out the comics and stuff like that. So every day we're continuing to grow. So sky's kind of the limit.
Yeah, that's nice, man. Yeah, I was just browsing through it, and I'm coming across these colorful characters, man. Like, if I could say that, because they're kind of, like I just see, like majority of times it's like, I notice that, when I'm looking at, black superheroes, like comic book heroes and stuff like that, and they just kind of they're just out there like on Instagram, really. Like I come across, if you know what I'm trying to say, like I see like I've been interviewing other people that do like other comics, that features, Black Americans and stuff,
Mhm.
and it's like recently, like and so like how when did you came out like
So last year was the year we first released Avoidly. So last year was like our first year out.
okay, all right. Yeah, I stuck because I noticed it's like I don't know, it's like a phenomenon of people just coming out with these comics. Like when did you know you wanted to do comics?
So my whole life I've been a comic book fan. I've been reading comics since basically as long as I can remember. So basically around I would say a little bit before the pandemic, I actually started writing ideas down, and then like around the pandemic, I really started like really really writing these ideas down and like kind of mapping out this universe that you see coming to life now. And then so really around the pandemic, I started to write comics, and I also started my YouTube channel, Yo a Nerd, where I kind of review other comics, like either whether it be indie or the big two like DC and Marvel. And I started coming across all these other like black indie creators that had dope characters and superheroes, and they were creating their own comics. So I kind of that kind of inspired me to really take my ideas seriously and really you know put forth trying to get these comics created. And so I would say around the pandemic is really when things really started to get serious, and I really started to take making comic books seriously.
Yeah, I noticed that like after the pandemic, people started like making their comics because I was talking to a woman and she was a writer. She was a public. She wrote for like a publication, and then like when the pandemic hit, I think she was what she told me she was like watching Wonder Woman, but she was influenced by looking at Wonder Woman and
Mhm.
something else, and so she came up with this comic called Firebird. It's more like a superhero like in space type of thing where this chick she got like powers like it's almost like she's rogue a little bit, but she's a bit different. She's different, like, and it takes place in space. It kind of reminded me of the Shared Empire a little bit for some reason, and it's really it was cool because I was reading some of it. Yeah, so
Okay, yeah, sounds
yeah.
dope. You said it's Firebird. I think I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, it's the publication is Kente Comics.
Okay.
I could send you the link. I could send you also the link. So you got this chick like she's like hot girl and stuff.
So this not necessarily. So
Not
only the
really.
links make her like Hawk Girl. So this is a character that is actually I'm writing the script for now. This character will probably not be out anytime soon. This is
Right.
just a work in progress right now. I'm still writing the script and getting everything together. I just wanted I just got somebody to do a character design for me so I can see what she would look like. And so this character, her story right now, still writing the story and everything, but so far right now, her character is there. Back in ancient Africa, there was this king who was at war with these dark warlocks, and so he looked to the gods and prayed for the gods for help, and they granted him her, which is his daughter, and she has like demigod type powers, and then once she became of age to like become a warrior and a fighter, the gods granted her with wings and the axe and
Mm.
also like armor and everything. So she helps her father in this war between going up against dark warlords, which leads to more in the story. I can't give too much away because it's I'm still working on the story,
Okay.
but that's just a
Uh,
work in progress. Her name is Thema, and right now the title I have is a warrior woman from another world, but it's still a tentative title because I'm still working on it.
yeah. Maybe it's just to stick with Dima.
Yeah.
Dima. Yeah, I mean it looked nice. I like how she looks. She has a unique look. You know, you don't really see too many black superheroines too much. You'll probably see Storm or Bumblebee or that's the ones that come from my head and stuff. But what influenced you with these to write these characters? Like yeah, where do you get the inspiration of doing it?
Well, the inspiration kind of comes from just being a comic book fan. Like I read a lot of comics.
Right.
I'm always reading comics. So I'm in the comic store every Wednesday. Buying comics. So the inspiration just comes from me being a fan of comics and also wanting to see more characters and heroes and villains that look like me. So more black heroes and villains, and not just heroes because the heroes is good too, but I also want black villains. So really the inspiration came from wanting more representation from comics, one characters that look like me, and also one to read comics that I would like. Because sometimes I read comics, even though I may like the character, I may not actually like the storyline, or sometimes comics don't go how I would like to, or like I would enjoy them. So, you know, I wanted to, write my own stories, write comics that I would want to read, and with heroes that I would want to see. And so that's kind of where the inspiration comes from.
Okay. I remember. I don't know if you ever read like Milestone comics.
Yes, definitely. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
also a big inspiration for me. Static is him and Batman are my two favorite heroes.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. I never read the comic. I never read Milestone comics, but you know what kind of put me onto it was Static Shock, the cartoon, the animated
Yeah,
series. I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. That cartoon. That was dope. It was really good. So this is what's his name? Marquise,
Mahis.
Marquise,
Mahis.
Marquise. Oh,
That's
where
his
you get
hero.
the name?
The
How you
name
get the name?
the name
That's
actually
interesting.
is the name actually comes from so there's this African god of war named Mahis, and he's a
Okay.
lion. Like they show him as a lion. So that's kind of where the name came from.
Hmm. Okay. I could name my son that Mahiki.
Yeah.
That's a strong name, man. Like, wow. Do you like do you kind of get in tune with like African culture or mythologies and stuff like that?
So yes, I'm actually so really that's kind of where like really a lot of I've been writing a lot of stories having to do with African mythology and stuff and just kind of
Hmm.
create my own mythologies. So it's I've always been like growing up I was always a fan of like Greek mythology because kind of Greek mythology always
Yeah.
gets like, thrown at us. And then so like you always learn about Zeus and stuff like that. And then I learned that a lot of Greek mythology was stolen from Africans. So like
Mm.
a lot of mythology that we know that is maybe Greek really was taken from Africans. So I really been I'm not as deep as into African mythology as I want to be because I'm kind of now really starting to not starting. I've been for a little bit getting into it, but I have been more so, watching, trying to learn more about African mythologies, which kind of has inspired some of my stuff that I've been writing lately that isn't even out yet, but like in the future will be. But yeah, a lot of I've been really trying to get into more African mythology because, of course, because I'm black, and then just knowing a lot of, I just felt like, I knew a lot of Greek mythology, and if some parts of Greek mythology are taken from African mythology, why not know African mythology too? So yeah, I'm trying to, get more into that. And it's actually inspiring. More I learn about it, it inspires more and more stories that I'm writing.
Mm.
So it's kind of put me on like this really big, creative, inspirational type train lately. So it's actually pretty dope.
That's fascinating. It's interesting because I'm half African. My folks, they're from Liberia, and I was born here. I don't know anything. I never been to Africa. Just like I know my family, have like a lot of my family members, they passed away and stuff like that. But I've been like, there've been times, I was brought up like knowing about like Mansa Musa, of course Harriet Tubman and stuff like that. I don't think I ever like dabbled to African mythology like that because it's very interesting. There's some people that I've interviewed besides you. They had like inspiration from African mythology. It was like this one guy I was interviewing. He he was reading about this demon and stuff, and so it kind of snowballed to kind of create this comic and stuff. So
Right.
it's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
Um.
we don't typically, especially in America, we typically don't hear anything about African mythology ever. So
Right. Right.
we really get thrown Greek mythology all the time. Like you learn about Zeus, you learn about Poseidon, you learn about Hades, you learn about all of that, but you
Yeah.
never really learn about African mythology here. So that's
Exactly.
kind of one reason why I really wanted to start learning about it. And it's 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 like African mythology. It's a rabbit hole of just stories. Like whether you like like whether you believe it or not, or whether go into like the religious aspects of it. It really is just a rabbit hole of just stories, and then I'm really inspired just by stories in general. So like just reading these stories, like you get inspired to create more stories. So if you're a person like me, it's a wonderful rabbit hole to kind of go down. And I'm at the very start of the rabbit hole. Like I'm not even deep in it yet. So like I can't wait until what stories may get inspired from other stories of African mythology.
What got you started reading about, African mythology?
Just just wanting to learn more about it, especially when I found out that a lot of Greek mythology is taken from Africans. So
Yeah.
like a lot of those teachings that they taught were stolen from Africans. So it makes me want to learn about African mythology. And plus I'm black, so like it's
Yeah.
always good to learn about more stuff that was in our culture, and so that's one reason why I went and learned more about African mythology.
Mm, yeah. It's kind of interesting because, it's always a division with Black Americans and Africans and stuff, and I just don't. It's crazy. So it's very interesting that you want to get in touch with that. So I
Yeah,
commend you with that.
and I get the kind of divide. I mean, it's at the same time like we know we're the same. Like it's still a very big cultural difference because like
Yeah.
us, we're African American. Like that American kind of has like a big part to it. So it's like I definitely get the divide, but still at the same time us, it's where we come from. It's like the culture that we weren't taught. Like Africa's kind of the culture that we weren't taught here. So it's I just for me, I kind of just would like to know more about where we come from. Just like most people want to know like where they come from.
Yeah.
the stuff that if we were still living in Africa, things that we would have learned, stuff like that. Like if maybe if was more into African culture, then I would know more about African mythology than Greek mythology. So
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff like that. So that kind of just inspires me to look up more African mythology. And like I said, it's just a rabbit hole of stories. Like it's just a rabbit hole of just dope stories. So like one thing that got me into it too was um Anansi the spider. I don't if you remember the well you would know you remember the
I
static.
think I heard that one. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
Anansi. Yeah.
So in the static
I,
in the static cartoon, there was an episode where he goes to Africa and he meets Anansi, Nancy the spider. But Anansi the spider is like a hero in Africa, but also in African mythology, Anansi the spider is like a trickster god. It's like he's like
okay.
a spider god who, and also beyond just being a trickster, he's like a god of storytelling. And then so as a lot of his stories seem to pop up more and more. Like I seen him in Static. If you read Philadelphia, he's actually pops up in Philadelphia, and he just kind of been popping up a lot in media like the last like 5 or so years, I would say, or at least for me.
Yeah.
So like that also learning about him, and then just what other gods are there, what other like type of gods are there, kind of inspired me to keep going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. You make me want to kind of look at that up with African mythologies, man. I didn't know it was that deep, man. Like,
Yeah,
that's
it's
very
real deep.
interesting.
It's deep. Like I mean, along with any mythologies, like anybody's mythology, they kind of go deep. But African mythology goes like real deep. It's a lot to it. They have a lot of beliefs. I actually was watching this documentary that kind of said like they don't call the like we say like like I said, Anansi's like a trickster god. They don't call
Yeah.
gods. I forgot the name they have for it, but they don't call them gods. And like the name they mean is like of God, like an extension of God. So like they like so like they still like believe there was like a God, but these other deities or whatever we want to call them, I forgot what they call them, but like these other like spirits are like extensions of gods. They didn't really call them gods. And I actually just
Hmm.
watched that documentary like a week ago. So but it was very informative. It was actually pretty dope.
Yeah. Um, to change the subject, why don't you tell about this character?
Okay,
Cause
that
he
also is a character that is coming up this year. So this is a character I'm working on right now. Its name is Hellhawk. This character is one of like probably my oldest. Him and the Legacy are two of my oldest stories that I've created. Hellhawk is a story about a vigilante who hasn't been seen in Helltron City in 20 years, and he's reemerged in this city, but the city is kind of it's called they labeled the city Hell on Earth. It's because think of it kind of like Gotham. Like it's just going through it. They got problems with gang violence, drugs, human trafficking is on the rise. People go missing all the time in this city, and then also there's costume villains and criminals just popping up in this city, just wreaking havoc. Like the city's full chaos. So Hellhawk is back in the city, but people don't know whether he's back to save the city or he has his own agenda, and nobody even knows who Hellhawk is. So it's a really dope story. This story is kind of like my ode to 90s Image comics. If anybody like reads
right.
90s Image comics like Spawn, Shadowhawk, Youngbloods, it's kind of like my ode to that. It's very violent. It's very action packed. It's great characters. Uh, a lot of villains, a lot of rogues. Just think of this kind of like Gotham City, but like it's a very dope story. It's called Hellhawk, and it's coming out later this year on Kickstarter. Like I said, if you follow me on Instagram, there's a link in my bio where you can follow the campaign so you get notified when it launches.
Well, why don't you explain what the Kickstarter like? What is that a comic book company or what's that about? If you don't
So
mind.
so Kickstarter is it's this platform kind of thinking of like have you ever heard of GoFundMe?
Yeah. Yeah.
So think of GoFundMe, but not GoFundMe. So GoFundMe is kind of a place where people can send you like donations for you to do something. Like you say, hey, I'm sick and I need donations. People can do GoFundMe. Kickstarter is kind of like a platform where you can sell your product. It's kind of like a pre-order platform. So basically, so for me, my comic, when I put it on Kickstarter, people will buy the comic beforehand, and it gives you like a certain goal to reach. And once you reach that goal is when like you'll get the money after a certain amount of time. So you have maybe 30 days to reach a certain amount of you have 30 days to reach a goal, whether it be like $100, $1,000, whatever your goal may be. And then once you reach it, then that's when you'll get the money, and then you can you can send your product out to people. So basically, it's kind of like a pre-order store where you can pre-order people's comics. Some people use it as a way to like fund their actual comic. Like some people will use it like they'll put sample pages out. The comic won't be fully done, but they'll have sample pages for people to see, and like they'll buy the comic, and once the comic is done, they'll ship that comic out. Or like how I do when I have my Kickstarters, I normally like to have my comic finished. So it's kind of like just like an online store. You buy the comic, and then once I reach my goal, I can send it out. So Kickstarter is really just like another platform for you to sell your comic book. It's like a pre-order platform in a way.
Yeah, I got like clips of you promoting your comic. Check it out.
Hey yo, what's good, y'all? I got some good news to share with y'all today. Today we are officially launching the 615 Comics website. So right now you can go to 615comics.com and get some comics too.
Hey yo, what's good, people? So we are just under 2 weeks until the campaign is over. As you see, 12 days left, and we've already reached our goal, and we have 62 backers, but we're trying to blow that out the water. So if you haven't already...
Hey yo, what's good, people? So I just got done dropping off the last of the Kickstarter fulfillments for the King's Domain. Yeah, so that joint should be to y'all soon, bruh. Some of y'all already got yours, but the rest of them should be coming soon. Hey yo, what's good, y'all? Let's talk about some comic book creator truths real quick. Now they tell you, make comics. That joint gonna be fun. It's gonna be fulfilling. You get to do your dream, you feel? And they not wrong. But they don't.
Yeah, that's what I took some clips and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you mostly like when you be on TikTok and Instagram, you just promote the how was like 2023 for you like in in like making comics or just in general?
2023 was actually pretty good for me. Like I said, 2023 was the first year. We released two comics last year in 2023, Avoidly, A New Breed, and The King's Domain. We released both of those on Kickstarter, and they're my first two Kickstarters, and both were successful. So we're kind of undefeated in Kickstarters right now, which is pretty cool. So that was a great year. We gained a lot of fans, uh, uh, gained a lot of followers, and then build a lot for the future. Like we did a lot of stuff in 2023 with the Kickstarters that has made it so that we can do a lot of big things in 2024, which we have coming up. So thanks to everybody's support and backing of the first two Kickstarters, it really gave us a good head start to kind of continue to build this universe, and then to keep going. So because really about I want to have longevity. That's one of my goals, is longevity, not just to come in and release these comics, but to be around and release these comics for a long time, and then like have ongoing series like Spawn. Right now Spawn is on like issue 300 and something, I believe. So like I want to have something like that. So this 2023 was a great year. It was a great starting point. So if things continue to grow like it did in 2023, then we got big things ahead. Like I said, sky's the limit.
Yeah. How you get like these artists, man? Like just like the artwork is phenomenal. Like if I could say that
Yeah, really
with
just
these
on
characters.
Instagram. Really just on Instagram. So um and sometimes Fiverr, there's a site called Fiverr where you can find people, but I found it easier to find people on Instagram. So really, what I just do is I just go on Instagram, look for artists that have either done comics or worked on comics before, and then like just so I know that they're always in the game or it's not a scam or something like that. So I just look on Instagram, and then actually kind of being in the making comics, a lot of artists seem to just find me. So it's kind of been real easy to find artists. There's a ton of dope artists out there, especially on
Yeah,
Instagram. There's artists that I see every day that I haven't even worked with yet. That I'm like, man, if I ever have like an opening for a comic or something like that, like this is definitely a person I would look to. But like just really on Instagram, social media makes it real easy to connect with people. There's Facebook groups where you can go on and there's people posting their artwork every day, trying to find jobs, working on projects and stuff. So social media really, Instagram mostly makes it real easy.
I'm gonna ask you a silly question. Did they like take it seriously like when you projected your idea to them?
Yeah,
How did they respond to?
yeah, every artist I've worked with. So before I even work with the artist, I check them out and see what they've done, if they've done comics before. And then the artists I work, especially with the Avora Lee artist and the King's Domain artist, both of those artists have worked on comics before, have already worked with creators and stuff like that. And then so they're pretty serious artists. So when I came to them about the idea and they were down for it, they liked it. They took it very seriously. They even put in some of their own input. Someone say, hey, maybe let's draw this panel like this, or maybe we should do something like this. So all the artists are really serious artists, but I think that's also because I look for artists that have done this before. I look for artists that are serious about this. That have done comics and stuff like that. So it's not just I'm not just getting somebody who doesn't seem like they take it seriously.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like the characters you kind of explained, they're very unique in their own way. Like the Hawk, the Hell Hawk. It kind of remind me. I don't know if you remember Silverhawk, the animated cartoon. Like it
Simple.
was like a How old are you? Like your mom asking.
I'm 31.
Oh, okay, you young. But it was this. You could Google this. It was called and I think they what's his name? Darkhawk got it from them a bit. But it was this animated cartoon called Silverhawks, and it kind of like it would kind of resemble like them a little bit and stuff. It was like five members, and they were like in space and stuff. It was kind of like the company that made you familiar with Thundercats, right?
Yeah, definitely.
They created Silverhawks like in a way like outside of Thundercats.
Okay.
So yeah, so it always kind of remind me, and I think that what's the name of that Marvel comic character you
Falcon.
named a bit yeah, Darkhawk.
Oh, Darker or no? Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of not Falcon, but it was this another character. His name was Darkhawk, I think, and he kind of resembled like the Silverhawks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of remind me of that. So yeah, I like this. I would like to check the Black Vigilante. Like what made you create this character?
Well,
Like what was
that storyline is kind of a lot based off my life. So that one is called The Legacy. That's one that's coming out later. So it's kind of really based off a lot of my life. Like I said, it's the father and son story about the son who kind of wants to use their abilities and the father wants to stay low key. But so that one kind of takes just a lot of inspiration from my life, a lot that I put into that comic.
Mm, okay? Yeah, yeah, it's really dope, man. Yeah, I had to take some pictures, man. Like the yeah, it's pretty nice, man. Do you have like if like do you see like your characters being on media like how Marvel or DC does with the movies and the TV shows, anything like that? Just to put that out there.
Well, like any other creator, like of course that would be dope. Like any creator have like your characters out there, for the public to see and like be in movies and stuff. Of course, I would love for one day, my universe to be made into a movie. Um, that would be that's like the ultimate goal. Like that would be crazy to have one day.
Yeah, I like how original your characters are. It's not like a black Superman or a black Batman or anything like that. Because it seemed like they just kind of in mainstream. It's like a recycled character with a different face or color and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah,
I mean I get that though because like you gotta think like Marvel and DC, those are their money makers. Like Batman is their
yeah.
money maker. They're gonna make 80 million different type of Batman to fit all different type of communities, people's lifestyles, because that's their money maker. So,
Right.
but for me, these are original characters. These are characters that just popped out of my head. So they're definitely just gonna be original.
Yeah, I remember they not too long ago they had like a Chinese super.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, I could imagine that because just seeing Bruce Lee and other people, Jackie Chan and stuff like that. So I could imagine it, but they actually doing that. It was kind of funny to me and stuff. So yeah, man. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity, to talk with you, man, because I would like to purchase a comic also, but I'm just like I'm trying to reach out to artists or writers about comics and stuff like that because I've dealt with a little bit of comics and stuff. I didn't never created a comic, but I have a friend. He works in DC Comics and Marvel. We did like did projects with LeBron James and Steph Curry and stuff like that. So yeah, so
What's up? Yeah, no
yeah,
problem. Thank you for allowing me to come on, and promote my comic and what I'm doing.
yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, do you got anything else to tell the viewers or anything that somebody that wanted to do comics or anything like that?
Oh yeah, advice for anybody that wants to get into comics, just get into it. If you already have your stuff written or have your ideas out there, definitely just get into it. It's like sometimes it's like really nothing to it but to do it. Like you can't get into comics without getting into comics. So my advice would be, start. Find a place. If you're a writer, write your ideas down, get it to a point where it's good, where it's ready, where you think it's ready to go to artists. If you're an artist, go on Facebook, go on Instagram, put your artwork out there. Let these writers know that you're looking for work. If you're a colorist, put your work out there and let people know that you're looking for work. My advice is really just to if this is what you want to do, if this is your passion, also do some research about it. But this is what you want to do, go for it. Chase your dreams.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem, bro. Thank
Uh,
you.
no doubt. Well, folks, thank you for coming or watching. That's a wrap. Tune in next time.
Peace, people.